on. Goldman Sachs is getting close to offering Bitcoin investment products to its wealthy clients. Hugh Son joins us now. Does Goldman know Bitcoin was like $4,000 like 18 months ago, and now it's like 57,000? This is part of their expertise. Hugh?
Well, Joe, I think those dizzying charts that everybody is looking at and salivating over, that's one of the reasons why Goldman and others are getting into this. They are in a client business. So when clients of Goldman Sachs or clients of Morgan Stanley, call up their financial advisor and say, should I have an allocation to Bitcoin? Look at what it's done. Should I have a 1%, 2%, 3% allocation to this emerging asset class? They've had to say, well, as a firm, we can't really recommend that. Well, that changes, and that changes very, very soon. So as we report exclusively on CNBC.com, Goldman Sachs is very close, and in the second quarter will begin offering Bitcoin and other digital asset-related investments to its private wealth management clients. This is sort of the Tony private bank of Goldman Sachs. They really target people and endowments with at least 25 million in assets under management.
Yeah, I understand, and they probably do see the demand now, but they are supposedly are known to be the smartest, the savviest, one of the best firms at analyzing these things, Hugh. And it's just taken a while. I mean, guys like Andreessen or even Paul Tudor Jones or Druckenmiller, this is, they are so far behind the curve on this, and that's fine that they finally are coming around to it. But you see my point. Wow, thanks. Maybe it's an asset class at 58,000. Thanks for that, Goldman.
Well, Joe, they are of the belief that we are still at the very, very beginning stages of this new nascent asset class. And if you think about it, it's a little more than a decade old. So when you look at the investment banks, they are at the nexus of overlapping regulatory regimes. They're not. They obviously have a higher threshold given their role in the last financial crisis about getting into new and speculative asset classes. So it's easier for hedge fund managers and the like to plow into this. It is, however, more meaningful that a Goldman Sachs will pierce that barrier and be one of the very first investment banks to say, what, we legitimize this asset class. We think it's not going away. There's a future to this. We don't know what the future looks like, but we know it's going to exist in the future, or we believe it's going to exist in the future. And I think that's the news today, Joe.
Hey, Hugh, when Morgan Stanley made this announcement, and I think there was a bit of maybe even a misunderstanding publicly about what they were doing, Morgan Stanley was not allowing the investors to effectively invest directly in Bitcoin, meaning you were not buying actual Bitcoins. You were buying instruments, funds, grayscale, and the like to get into it. In the case of Goldman Sachs, are you going to be buying directly into the cryptocurrencies themselves, or are you going to be buying instruments which creates a middleman? Maybe Goldman's creating the instruments themselves.
Yeah. Well, and Morgan Stanley, just to be more specific on that, Andrew, and nice to be with you, man. Specifically, Morgan Stanley talked about investing in Mike Novogratz's Galaxy Digital funds, and I do believe that's a fair close approximation of actually owning a physical Bitcoin, as they call it, closer than Grayscale, which is a trust, and the price moves around a lot. Obviously, there's a gap between the physical and the trust price. Now, specifically with Goldman, and I encourage people to read the story, but look, they say that there's a full spectrum, and these are the words of the executives I spoke to, of exposures that they're thinking about, not just physical Bitcoin, as we call it, but also derivatives and also traditional fund investments. So I think they're looking at it very holistically. They think that still, despite what Joe said, that they are still early in the game, and that in hindsight this will look like very, very savvy move on their part.
They very well might be early. There's people that talk about you divide the 21 million into a certain percentage of the global financial system, you get numbers like 500,000 and a million. That's not my point. My point is just that they may be early, but they're not as early as so many other people. And you can see today, Hugh, it would normally Goldman Sachs, the endorsement of Goldman Sachs stocks or the Bitcoin's down 2%. So it moved more, I guess, when some others on the way up, on the way from 4,000 or 400 up to where they are. But this is a major event for Goldman in a white shoe investment bank to sort of give the endorsement there, Hugh. We appreciate that. Good story. Thanks.